As we are back on the Galactic Historian Twitch Marathon. Sit my butt back down here as we're going to engage our next marathon caller from twitch.tv.
Okay, our next caller has a unique name. It's James Brown.
James Brown! Are you there? Guess James Brown is not there. He's off dancing somewhere. He's not feeling it. Going once. Going twice. Going for these times. And the next wheel of caller is...
It's area code 252.
Area code 252. Your name and where you're calling from.
My name is Eric Adamo, from Mount Shasta, California.
Lovely Eric. I love this man. How are you doing?
Oh my God, so much has been happening. Whew. Yeah, I was just at a really big medicine wheel today, and of course I have questions about that. I posted on Facebook and shared as much as I could. My questions are related to that, but more so.
I have been watching.
If I'm going to ask anything personally, I just want to, see if you can individually pick it up on my own stream, just my own, soul signature. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I have been watching your journey since Seattle. So, first thing first.
Yeah, I had a feeling because there were tons of dreams with you in it, very consciously. And major question with this medicine wheel, we all know that it's a rainbow bridge, but that's a very vague concept. And we met the man today who's been building it. And I've been doing tons of gridding associated with it. At this present moment, I'm a little bit overwhelmed, but also very excited and just keeping on with this joyful journey.
Okay. So for the audience's sake, just share with people real quick how you've come to my material and how it's helped you change, because this is a part of your next level of journey.
Okay. It's actually very synchronistic. Right now, at this present moment, I'm with the guy, my friend Robert, friend, who introduced me to your material back in 2014 of October. He knew of you back in 2013 because of some original readings you were doing. The readings that you did with him, the one or two of them, pinpointed the exact thing we're doing now, fortifying the Unity crystalline grid. I've had at least 2 or 3 different readings with you, and since then, numerous miracles and indications of nonlinear time that have proven that time is spherical, time is cyclical, time is nonlinear, beyond fraud time. Eventually, in October 1st of 2017, on my 33rd birthday, after interacting with Max the Crystal Skull in Cleveland, Ohio, I eventually got to the conference in Seattle, Washington, helped to manifest at least 5 different people getting there. Was on a really important experiential journey in Oregon. After the conference, I helped to, fortify the grid even more. It was a really rough, but an important relationship, very karmic, but also very life-confirming and preventing numerous timeline incursions. I had a lot of assistance with the whales and the Guardians, and the list goes on, and now finally here I am in Mount Shasta, all these nonlinear time years later, and everything has been just pinpointing to Mount Shasta from the beginning of, back in 2013 when you did that reading with my friend Rob, to the moment when you did a reading with me, and to all the other readings that have had a direct correlation to this ongoing life journey. So that was a bit of a 2-minute spiel into a much bigger journey. It's been going on for, I think, thousands, if not millions of years. Definitely many lifetimes.
And it is your discipline and trust in spirit that got you through the steep valleys and pits and things that you had to endure as trials and tribulations.
Exactly.
And it is the teachings that helped open you to the unlimited point of view that you can be on many timelines.
Right.
I remember you and me talking about the consciousness strike and how it helped you so much, and that you were able to share it with Max the Crystal Skull. Can you go a little bit more in depth with that part? It will greatly help people as I create the synopsis of why your journey has come to this point.
The alchemical union and communion consciousness strike, reclaiming the carrot and the stick wisdom, was the pivotal revocation of all revocations, especially the moment, or I call it the epicenter, the ground zero of 0 point, when I shared that revocation with Max the Crystal Skull, one of several crystal skulls that exist and coexist, many. And in that moment, we had that journey and that meditation in as much of a sacred, neutral way at the, Cleveland, Ohio Masonic Temple. Prior to that, we weren't going to have it at the temple. We were going to have it at some completely different place. By reading the consciousness strike revocation at the Masonic Temple, helped clear and heal the Masonic, energies from way in the beginning to now. And then Max the Crystal Skull kept interacting with other crystalline energies and other people's crystal skulls, like at the conference, and including our, fellow friend Debbie Smart, who had also crystal skulls herself. And from that point on, I knew to read and go in deeper with the consciousness strike revocation. And when I did, and I read it on the land that I was on in Oregon, that eventually helped me to start to create and make my own unique revocations. I've made about 10 so far. And at that moment in time, I knew the difference between revocations, invocations, and all the other in-between prayers from my ancestors, everybody else's ancestors. I can hear thousands and thousands of voices of everybody's ancestors on this world and many other worlds, including tapping in and finally being able to read the Akashic Records. I made a bit of a joke the other day that I'm a baby galactic historian, but I'm way more than that, because after getting the title of the Galactic Historian Doctorate, I took that quite seriously, but humorously all at the same time.
Yeah, you get your GHD.
The GHD.
I came up with it that moment. In that moment, I remember on stage when you were asking me the question, I'm like, you're going to get your GHD. Alrighty, now let's talk about your journey. The journey that has gotten you there to be calling from Shasta after doing all of these incredible grid works that's created a foundation that has created a shared hologram between you and Robert that it now can be shared with many other beings who can achieve the high frequency from the journeys that they take to understand that the Rainbow Bridge needs thousands of hands and minds and hearts interacting with it so that it can spread far beyond just Mount Shasta. For it is your interconnection and your personal summoning of the energies in front of Max the Crystal Skull, who's in its own right has tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people over the years sit in front of it and put an impression within it. And you brought to that individual crystal skull and all of its interconnected crystal skulls a union and communion consciousness strike, reclaiming the carrot and stick, and gave it a sense of freedom it hasn't had for hundreds of thousands of years. For it has been in service for so long, it has lost itself.
Exactly. I actually knew that. You saying that was what I already knew, but it's good for everybody else to know. and there's so many layers and levels to that. My biggest question, or two biggest questions, one was, and you can answer this later in your own convenient time, was what was the gift, or is the gift that you had for me? And then the second thing is what is going on in my, individual life as it pertains to, I think I've asked this before, resistance-free Earth and this more transcendent state of a peaceful, feels like a peaceful military, very similar to what it felt like on Valerian, a city of 1,000 worlds. I want to know what that correlation is with my future self and my present self and my ancient Lemurian Atlantean self, because I know something's going on. I've dreamt it 1,000 times, and
yes.
I that's my biggest question. It has been for my whole life.
Let's go right to the Babylonian money curse. It is what's keeping you from the potential of the future generation's dreams. Okay? It means you still have to see it through the medium of television and the internet and what they say is possible. It is the Babylonian money curse or money magic system that is acting as a camouflage to the potential futures and our own perception deception filters. For it is the young television and books that you grew up on that has made you the creative man that you are. You must learn to transcend the old Eric and be the modern, ever-evolving, unlimited point of view Eric, who understands that the gifts are living in the ever-present moment. And in that ever-present moment is the interconnectivity to draw upon everything that's in your unknowingness and make it known. That's the gift. When you reached out to the crystal skull, engaged your sacred discipline, repeated your process, and continued upon your journey, you picked up the mantle of what's called celestial responsibility and understood that the reading of the consciousness strike has many other layers beyond its physical spoken word. It's a frequency, vibration, intonation, masterfully created in your words for your time to be of service as part of the fifth world of peace to something that's an integral part of our global narrative. That Max the Crystal Skull is intimately interwoven into awakening history. How many television shows has it been on? How many hundreds of thousands of people sat next to it? How many millions of people saw that crystal skull be scanned by IBM in the 1980s and they couldn't figure out what made it? All of those potentials are in there, and you just freed them.
Yes.
And you took that freedom of consciousness and brought it to a mountain that has the rainbow bridge of creation. And it's now co-creating with you while still Max the Crystal Skull, because it's now unlimited.
My sub-question to that is, and this is a mystery to me, and I've actually solved it, but it'd be good for everybody to know, especially in America. When I did this Great Seal ceremony, it unlocked all unlimited potentials to what currency was, is, might be, could be, and should be. And that's not something I've knew I did very consciously and very interactively, and still to this day don't quite know what I really did, because it was something that I felt many people did simultaneously.
My audio broke up there for a second. Can you repeat that?
What I asked was, back in 2008 and 2010, I did this series of what I call Great Seal ceremonies, which is depicted on the back of our, USD dollar bill.
Yep.
And when I did this with the intention of freeing trillions of souls and people that were entrapped into the Babylonian money magic system. My main question was, what did I really do, and how? Because it was a series of Great Seal ceremonies, even up to the point with Max the Crystal Skull, even in Seattle during the conference, and even right now it's still happening. And I'm wondering what this Great Seal ceremony really did do, because it's a continuum of ceremonies that just don't seem to be ending until...
Okay, so first thing first, you had a rites of passage into greater knowingness. And with that came the endurance of what greater knowingness means. Your soul had a contracted agreement with the reality, let's just say the things that are driving forth the hologram, that you would be able to have a third-person point of view of the system and an internal point of view of the system. You chose to interact with it. What you were experiencing, these great seals, is what it's taking for higher energy beings to actually shut down the money curse system that is affecting us over many timelines, many eras of light, with many forms of realities behind it. Times where it wasn't dollar bills, it was something else and something else and something else before that. It is all of those things. That's why it's called a money magic system, because it's using the magic and mythos of money. It is about demystifying money itself. And that was what you began witnessing. It engaged you on multiple timelines because there are multiple you on fake money timelines and where you're searching for the gold to get rich. That's how they get you on fake timelines. They make you win the lotto. And you're stuck on the other timeline with the money. So what did you do? You got to experience from within what many of your future selves are going to be going through as that young being that you were at that time. And the battle is the personal encouragement, personal motivation that it knows to take to make that dream real. Because at any moment of time, you could have not practiced, could have not stood up to the crystal skull and done it once instead of 3 times, or could have not gone at all. So many choice points led to so many other choice points that you adhere to because your discipline had grown, because you had that vision. 2008 to 2010, if you hadn't had those visions, how different would this experience be?
Way different. I'd probably still, I know exactly the way it would be. Yeah.
That's why you had it, to let you in on the inside game. And that's your test. You're worthy. You've passed the rites of passage. You've done that's all to be done, and you're self-proof of who you are and what you are and the type of being that you are and the service you're offering.
My connection is, does this still have something to do with Alcyone and Pleiades and my...
Does it even matter?
Super soldier connection?
Does it even matter?
At this point, in continuum of points, it doesn't anymore, because there's really no...
Remember, that which you look at looks back at you. That which you focus on focuses upon you. For so long, that was your focus, imprinted by society, the cultures, and its entertainment. We no longer need the medium of super soldiers and science to understand spirit works through us all in mysterious ways. And those that are disciplined and courageous inside can understand that those mysteries are not mysteries but pattern recognitions and times of preparedness for the next waves of knowingness that come to you.
Right.
The past is your teacher. The present is your creation. The future's your inspiration. Hold your present to be yours, Eric's, and no other projection from the outer source defining how you evolve the fifth world of peace and the services that you create.
Exactly.
When it comes to super soldiers, in that whole industry that has been created around them, my advice to you is to make them irrelevant to your greater growth. Those that are super soldiers will begin to learn, if they want to heal, identifying as a super soldier is something you'll have to learn to make irrelevant in yourself. By simply identifying with it creates the trauma in the interconnected hologram to all those that are traumatized, and they have been weaponized with trauma to engage your empathy, to lower your frequency. For if they are truly signature frequency matches to you, they will learn self-illumination, they will learn heart space awareness, and they will learn what it takes to self-heal and self-nurture. How hard was that for you to really train yourself in self-healing and nurturing?
It was an ongoing process, 24/7, to continue to self-heal and self-nurture, even in moments when I thought I was, unwinding and taking a break. Unentangling and making it irrelevant. I know exactly what you mean now, because my next revocation that I was creating had exactly everything to do with that. So,
and you'll learn when you do and redo that revocation after you've created why it's the next part of your journey. Because you're there to create more to the Rainbow Bridge, not just on that mountain, but thousands of others if you should take up that next mantle of responsibility, in which you can challenge the Babylonian money curse and make abundance a part of your life to go to the next level. For that is where you're at. By changing your focus to find the good that you've done on the journey that you've been on to make abundance internal and eternal.
I actually started to have my own Wednesday night abundance class, and it was about the multidimensional aspects of abundance in regards to natural universal law, beginning with the law of one and all the other natural laws of co-creation. So I'm, I'm ready for myself for that greater level of abundance, and not just money, but I'm talking abundance of
money.
Spirit, abundance of everything.
I'm talking money.
Money too.
No, I'm talking money is your challenge right now.
Oh.
You already have the multidimensional
That
stuff.
has been part of my challenge.
No, it is the challenge. Okay? It is literally the challenge.
Okay. I get it. I know exactly what you mean.
The laser focus is on manifesting it now, not as instant gratification. You already have the multidimensional stuff down. You got to beat the curse from taking your abundance away as actual dollar bills you can spend on your grand journey. You have to outcreate it with whole new ideologies of internalness that can manifest the business layers that you want with the skill sets behind it, so you can make abundance something that doesn't make you cringe. I know so many healers that get into it are great healers, but they can't do a single part of the business in the background.
Exactly. And I don't know if Andrew heard the initial question, and maybe you can answer later, is about what gift he had for me.
Money.
And I know that you've been super busy.
The gift is money. The gift is the knowingness that you've passed all of the tests, that you are an honest, impeccable spirit on the journey, and that you, this individual being, have to start your business. Cannot wait anymore. A gift from the many infinite futures there saying, Eric, this is what you focus on. For the next part of the journey, the next layer of responsibility for you is owning the money in and out. So the great gift, Eric, it's time for you to stop testing yourself. You've already passed the rites of passage.
I hear that. I know that. I've even been hearing messages from the upper timelines of Earth with a different graduating class. It's hard to describe if people don't know what I'm talking about. But I know exactly what you mean on many levels. And turning it into a business has been one of my biggest challenges. And money as well. And I know that I've passed a lot of the challenges and tests. But in interim with all that, I realized one of my biggest distractions in some cases has been some of the relationships I've had in the past with different women, and I've been trying to figure out, without even dwelling in the past, just staying in the present in neutrality, what the heck all those women represented and what they were all about, and why heck I had to go through all these different levels and layers in a very strange way.
So you chose your difficulty level in this lifetime long before your birth.
Yeah.
Okay? You saved the best of the best of the best of the best to the last because you knew you couldn't stay in this lifetime without challenges. You're too old of a soul. We don't get to do it the easy way when we get older. Okay? Being an old soul means that you're always doing it the hard way. until such a time the old soul manifests an I am presence with some internal fortitude, intestinal fortitude that's so strong that creates a manifest now dream world with an I am presence in equal co-creation. And the spirit isn't mad about doing that. So why are all the women there? Lessons to be learned on the path where you are testing yourself as an I am presence and say, are you ready to take up the celestial mantle of responsibility and still live a life on physical I am presence earth, just like I do, okay? And then have skill sets that have the potentiality to change this world, be it one person at a time or millions. Each one is a great lesson, and each one of those women will be a great lesson and teacher through your experiences that you relate to others when you're trying to teach and synopsize concepts that people won't have any clue about unless there's something else in their experience that they can relate to. Each one taught you a lesson, didn't they?
Yeah, a whole freaking mountain load and boatload and world load of lessons. Yeah. Yep.
That's why you contracted them. They were the greatest of teachers you could contract at a time that you as a higher soul were creating in a moment where you could make a super I am presence. Listen, this isn't about the next invocation or revocation. This is about you writing a business plan, a 3-dimensional business plan that has all of your ethics and creativity synopsized within your business plan of how you can begin to make cyclical and regular money that doesn't force you back in a slave job week after week. Or put you in debt from waiting out for the next money and the next money and the cyclical tidal flows of money that come to your life. Tide money in, tide money out. Money in, money out. To break that cycle.
Within the response that you just gave, we have here, there's a cultural center that we have been manifesting little by little, trickles by trickles, here in Mount Shasta, and I started the gridding as a explosive firework kind of energy gridding because of that land, because knowing that cultural center would be an international and intergalactic at some point cultural center. I know all the answers you just gave and beyond is part of that, but what's the next step, not just in gridding, but also in making that manifestation become a reality with the least amount of expectations attached to it?
I actually gave you the answer already. It's to let go of
the
spirit.
You did. Backwards in time.
Let go of spirit stuff.
Yeah.
And to actually manifest a business plan that has your spirit and co-created and invested into it. So it's a cognitive business plan 3D dumbasses can understand. Your next
Fortunately, we have a powerful architect here, Rob, and he's already drawn all of it up. And he's a true architect in career form, but also a multidimensional architect and reality programmer. It's like we started creating this in the ancient past and the recent past, and now it's all there. All the layout is already there. And this was this was like the icing on the cake and then some. This is what this just was for all of us. So
you had the mystical. Now the mystical is asking you to make a masterful manifestation of a 3D business plan that sums up all of the journey that you went through to be marketing. That's it.
Yeah. Okay.
You got to let go of spirit and understand spirit is still going to be supporting you. While you are in that masterful manifestation mode. Maybe you need to create a ceremony that puts you into masterful manifestation mode so that you can draw upon the precognitive workforce to help you sit down and co-create the business plan with Rob. To actually say, what can we do with the community that we have locally and through the internet and create an infrastructure that can capture and we can sell to, because they're already a captured audience, asking us for more information or services. People have been doing that since the dawn of time. We just happen to have the internet now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Your hands on
That's
me.
something that Rob and I have been talking about, and more than just talking, we've been taking action steps, and there's more action steps to do.
The first action step to do on your business plan is to understand it's a menu of services that do have a dollar rate that reflects how you value the work. It's not about how anyone else values the work. No one else knows what it takes to actually do and the journeys that you've gone through so you can be able to do what it is that you do. The same situation with me and what I do for the prices of my courses or anything that I put out. There's the physical aspect of what it takes to produce it, and then the spiritual aspect too. You may not know this, but the hardest one I have ever produced in all times was the first Dragon episode.
Oh my God, that's my favorite one.
To this very day, what it took to create that will physical level will never catch up to it. The cost, the unseen cost to create that.
Yeah, the Dragons told me a little bit on the unseen levels what that took for you and others.
Right.
Yeah.
What it took.
Yeah, they literally growled and spoke and played music, and I'm like, what? And they're just all explaining how hard it took, challenging it was to create that Dragonar.
Right, and then create the Dragonar 2 and the mystery schools that came after that, because it was all related.
All of it. Yeah.
All of it. All related. You're at a point where you have to see the seen cost of what it takes for you to manifest. You have a massive unseen bank account that's waiting for you to pull out the unseen debit card and start going through the unseen machine withdrawal.
I've had dreams just like that, so I'm ready to make that happen in the real and the seen, in the tangible and the actual. For real. Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, one of the first things I did when I got to Shasta after that ordeal in Oregon, I'll just call it an ordeal, big lesson though, was I started to create a menu of services. I created 2 pages worth of a menu of services and even put price brackets. I thought up to myself, okay, I think I'm worth this much, but I want to go 3 times the amount of what I'm worth, and even fine with even beginning with the basic amount. But I created a menu of services with prices, just like a menu in a restaurant. You know, I did something quite similar the very first week I was here.
Mm-hmm. There's your appetizer section, there's your main course, there's your a la carte, and then there's the dinner for 2.
And then there's the buffet section, too. I created a buffet.
The buffet, the a la carte part.
Yeah.
That's your masterful focus right now. What does it take for you to let go of the reins of spirit and allow your precognitive unit workforce to operate your unseen world in trust while you focus on 3D Matrix? And not be distracted by curiosity that's taking you to focus on something that isn't your business plan. It's the reverse of what you've been doing, literally.
So you're basically saying don't explore out of curiosity anymore? Because that's what I strive on.
For the time that you are creating your business plan. Also, if you strive on curiosity, curiosity will eventually use up your 9 lives.
You're right. Yeah, I've actually have in this life used up a couple. I've been resurrected a few times. I know exactly what you mean.
You need to learn to tame and temper your curiosity with your knowingness of what real expansion is versus random internet search and see what the curse gives me next.
Right. Is this definitely, I hate to ask this one, but is this a time not to focus on being in a relationship, or is the relationship that I knew that I was supposed to have here in Mount Shasta? And I know that it could be ongoing, but I don't want it to be. And I know what my higher self told me in 2014 about Mount Shasta and the true partnership that was always meant to be here in Mount Shasta and pretty much, nowhere else, but without limiting myself. And I'd like to know what that messaging system was from my higher self, because I still hold it as valid and true. And that's how I eventually got here.
It was preparing you for the unlimited point of view, where at an earlier part in your life you could see that there was only one person for me, because culture had forced you to think you could only there could be one. There may be 5 on the path for you to find true love. There could be 2 on the path. There could be 1. It is your journey into the unlimited point of view of what takes for the mountain and the microcosm that's around it to make a masterful synchronistic manifestation that both of you can look into each other's eyes and go, "Pow, motherfucker, you're the one." Are you expecting
masterful synchronistic manifestations? Here I go.
Are you waiting for the synchronicity to slap you both of you on the forehead and say you're supposed to be paired?
Not really, but there's other synchronicities that are like warnings too. The last couple weeks I've had warning messages about not to get involved with someone, or and then there are really positive synchronicities that are very indicative and clear. Yeah, this is the one. But only today has been the big step to that more huge synchronicity. Today is the epicenter where that started.
Yes. And now you must take this masterful synchronistic manifestation and let go of spirit and give the reins of control to your precognitive workforce that you know is an equal co-creation with you, and focus on 3D business. 5-10 days. Think of it as a reverse cleanse. That you're taking on the system to make a manifestation in it. That will become digital document, that will become your website, that will become something you invest time, effort, and energy on the great journey to.
Well, this is exactly what I needed to hear and exactly what I knew. But hearing it from you was like the key and ignition and lock and load and ready, here I go. So I know what you mean. I know what Eleanor means. I know what all the angels and guides and in a positive yet sacred neutral way means now.
Cool. Eric, I got to let you go and move on to the next caller.
Perfect. All right. Thank you for everything.
Take it easy.
Take good care. Bye.
All righty. Thank you, Eric. That was an awesome call.
Yes, that was. And it was one of those things to have someone that's been listening for a long time and for them to share their individual journey and then to have an intimate exploration of what it takes for him, who's done the hard work, has passed the rites of passage, and now he's at the point, the last thing that he has to do is not a spirit thing. It's a masterful manifestation using all the lessons he's learned and all the impeccable things he's done with spirit to make his menu of services to be of service to the fifth world of peace.
Absolutely. Okay, our next call is coming from the Melbourne area. First name Linda. Linda, you're on.
Hello, blessings. Blessings,
Hello.
Andrew.
How you doing today?
Blessings. Great to be with you. I've only been with you for a couple of months, Andrew, just listening to your videos, and delighted to hear all the synchronicity happening on this call already. I know Eric was talking about his connection with Max, the crystal skull, and I once was in meditation and had a crystal skull called Amar, who I'd never heard of, introduced himself to me, and I looked up on the internet, and he was a Tibetan guarded crystal skull that was taken out by the Tibetans when the Chinese came and took over Tibet. Did not remain conscious with every part of the download that he gave me, but it was beautiful. I also wanted to speak to having glimpses of the infinite point of view and true freedom. And I've had some amazing alchemy cellular rites of passage with my own DNA skin suit through the years. And I would, I've had, with the blessings of Native Americans, I've had some experiences of multiple shape-shiftings and dematerialization and telekinesis, where a beam left my third eye and hit a big man and sent him backwards about 8 feet. And I've also, as a martial artist, had an experience once where my leg went up like something out of the Karate Kid. When I was 55 years old, 9 years ago, it went up like the Karate Kid and could have stayed there for 3 years. There was no weight or anything in it. So I would love a little bit of enlightenment as to my own unique DNA Star Nation family technology that I have inherited in there, if that's possible, Andrew.
Sure it is. What year were you born?
1953, 21st of October.
So let me tune into this. So part of your experiences with the mystical is to challenge you as a very old soul. At what level do you want to manifest at the age that you are now? Are you ready to take on the youthful challenge to be spirit in the body that is this age now? Are you ready to take on the challenge of exercise and nutrition of the spirit, not just the physical body? You have to learn to exercise your spirit just as you've exercised the physical body through spiritual journeying, through the experiencing of unity in many different ways. There are many paths to oneness. It is fair to say there's an infinite point of view in relating to oneness. For each and every person will come to oneness in a different way. There are old versions of you who used oneness as a camouflage to hide from the universal mysteries, saying you weren't alive. But at that moment that your foot was high in the air and you knew that reality was just a little bit of an energy hologram, you had that moment to determine, what do I want to do with the greater skill sets that are there? Am I, this being of the now, ready to take on the responsibility that I can morph and change reality in front of me, just like I've seen shapeshifters, just as you've related all those other experiences? Are you going to be one that does that as a viral video? Is that what we will be known for? Or are you going to be known for as a teacher who masterfully manifests mystical experiences for others in such a way that does not create fear, envy, or jealousy within them, in such a way that you can open their heart space to the greater awareness of what's there? Are you ready to inspire and take people out of toxic hope so that they can have sacred discipline in place of toxic hope, so they can begin their journey, just as your many years of a journey have shown you with hindsight and foresight that spirit is your path? Your galactic history is one of the divinity path, one who has done this over and over and over during other ages of enlightenment and awakening. But ultimately, all those other ages of enlightenment and awakening were to prepare the oldest souls for this generation of the great Dreamtime awakening. Everything else was part of the hierarchical reduction of who was ready to own power in a world where power was not given to you in any way, shape, or form, where you were valued in the Babylonian money curse system, and you had to learn sovereignty, seen and unseen. Are you ready to teach the many angles to oneness and understand there will be those that are students that will come to you that are the positive and the negative, and can you see them with the sacred neutral point of view? For that is the service of the teacher. Because you are a teacher. Are you ready to own it now?
I've felt that for a long time that I was really just like a chicken beginning to peck out of the egg, getting ready for my real work. I've done 40 years.
You've long been out of the egg. You are a summer hen, not even a spring chicken anymore.
Mm.
And you have to forgive yourself for any other moments you didn't light the fuse and rock it up. Now you got to light your inspiration fuse to put you on the path to being the teacher, helping people go through their mystical experiences just as you went through yours that defined your path.
Well, I would certainly like to move to a state where I can embody more of the true nature of infiniteness. I mean, to me, total freedom is the ability to alchemize to any shape of existence and also go to any point or location that exists, and to do so with full fluidity.
That as a living expression is actually a pipe dream. There would be no point if you were a living stream of infinite consciousness as a human being with agendas and spiritual contracts. It's counterintuitive to its natural process. You are in a DNA instrument of experience, and your experience here in flesh with sensual and sexual touches and relationships is absolutely a vital part of the greater teaching of who you are, what you are, and how you experience this reality. Gotta let go of that part of the dream, because it's a goal that will lead you down the path of not being in the skin suit. It's a letting go of that old dream. That you are not a living, breathing manifestation of infinite knowingness 24/7, 365. And that part of your journey was to see that. The younger versions of you engaged that as an expectation and also engaged it as a path and life journey. It's an unattainable goal as a DNA skin suit. The very point of being here in this skin suit was to experience it through the medium of the body, so that you can pass on the word we are creating it all and how to do it.
I'll have to reflect on that, Andrew.
I know, because there are younger versions of you who were a little zealotous in your journey to create experiences, and you got some that profoundly changed you. Sometimes we take on too much change.
I don't understand that.
Okay, let's look at this in a metaphor. Let's say you have a 7-year-old child who has never been taught about money, dimes, quarters, anything, never seen it represented anywhere, and somebody comes and gives them a dollar bill, but doesn't ever tell them how to earn it in any way, shape, or form. You just got the experience of what the money does, not the lessons and learning behind it. And you give that child $1 million, $5 million. Your experiences are the value of dollars in the metaphor here. You had this $100 billion experience, but you didn't know what to do with it in the seen or the unseen world. It just changed your perspective so grand and broad that you lost sight of how to stay in the reality with the experience in DNA. And that's okay. Part of the journey into greater awareness is to know how vast the infinite really is, until such a moment it makes us sink back into our body and go, wow, that is a grand experience. How the hell do I tell people about it? How do I create language for what I just experienced?
Yeah. Or maybe just to hold it sacred for a long time.
Sacred enough so you can remember it. For something I have said since the very day of my very first show, it's not about the reading that I give them, it's about what they retain. Every session that comes to me, private or public, it's what are you going to retain? That's where the skill in manifesting of the Akashic Record, I am harmonizing frequency, vibration, intonation, so that there is the greatest potential that there'll be something that retains going into the future. something that retains enough energy so when you go with hindsight, you've got a marker in the changes you've created in yourself.
I want to come up and work with you at some point, Andrew, through some of your, venues, training that you do. I would love to. I felt a deep connection to do that, and so I'll jump off now and let other people who are waiting come on. But thank you so very much.
And when the replay goes up, you'll be able to listen to some of the other things that I said. But thank you so much for calling. You have been a fabulous teacher for other people too, and I look forward to meeting you in person.
I absolutely look forward to meeting you, my brother. Take care. Lots of love. Bye for now.
Yes.
Thank you.
Really special callers going on. Really, really special callers. Thank you so much. So, we've doing this marathon. I at the beginning of my career, October 31st, 2012 was my very first live show. And by November 11th, I had 2 different radio shows on 2 different channels. Or by November 16th, the second show came on. And by December 21st, 2012, I was leading a marathon that was simulcast on 22 stations that was titled, Nothing is Going to Happen Tomorrow. And now we're at a point where hope has died. 2017 was the year hope died. Sure, the world may be changing, but the global narrative hasn't changed. And we have such a unique audience that's grown here on the 2 channels, and that we've got about 2 more hours to go in the show. In a little bit, I believe we're going to have Sean Bond, Ryan Eichmann, and Chris Sinatra come on, and then pass the message. We are going to be talking multidimensional pirates and some really esoteric stuff. Some of that juicy stuff I did 2013, 2014. Some of those guys that are researchers out there that really want a chance to delve deep into some of those historical representations that I've done. All right, Robert, let's take a quick break, like a 3-minute break.
Here on Earth, we have a reincarnation layer and an incarnation layer. Earth is naturally an incarnating world, and reincarnation was brought here. And the system of the Archons filters the incarnators and reincarnators who are creating spiritual contracts that are trying to deal with the system of domination and control. The system of domination and control's purpose is to make sure you and I are not born in the right and proper soul family. Because if we do, we will have the greatest ability growing up to be the greatest projectors, the greatest healers, the greatest teachers, etc., etc. So they have strived to make sure soul families are separate by creating separation and duality in our physical minds between our dream world and how we do esoteric practices, rituals, and spirituality. In our physical language, they have changed the way words work. Pray, P-R-E-Y, P-R-A-Y, so on and so forth. There are a variety of things that separate us. And then there are laws that also separate soul families, and how the Babylonian money curse also separates us. So there are a variety of protocols installed by the system to make sure when we are born that we don't meet our soul family, that a form of negative synchronicity adds up through the value of debt of this whole world. One of the big teachings that I speak about when it's relating to soul family, you could have someone who is in a particular lineage who has created a life as a fetus in the womb that was supposed to be a doctor of great healing. By the time they got into their first year of college, they were so sick of the way the education system, instead of becoming a grand surgeon and healing people, they went into law and found themselves entangled with the system of law and not the true people that they wanted. There's a large variety of stuff. It includes military, the retail, and the restaurant industry. All bring people into a lower density of frequency in which they are exchanging freely the most polluted energy that is around there. There's also no teaching of spiritual hygiene. When one comments, projects and practices a regular form of spiritual hygiene, soul family members become more close to you. We are innately attracted to each other in what's called 1 degree of separation. Everyone you have ever heard, met, read, studied with, every person that's ever heard your voice is in this potential of 1 degree of separation. And when we're born on this world, we have a potential of 1 degree of separation that says, I can come together with soul families. And the great mystery that's working through the source that all this is, we simply must learn equal co-creation, non-hierarchical order, and naturally the soul family synchronicities will return to us.
Each different bubble of reality is true.
A galactic historian is a person that looks at all the lines of dramatic karma.
Nudge, nudge. It's the holy grail.
Improvise. Mysterious. It's counter psychic intelligence.
Why is DNA farming of this star cluster so important?
Because we do manifest our reality. We do create our reality. Hello. Let's create. Let's co-create. And let's change this world with love. No matter if you're from Alpha Centauri or Earth, we all began with the same birthing process. We live in a limited point of view. Living the mystical life daily is about striving for the unlimited point of view. Each day, each human being gets an infinite amount of choices. Living the mystical life daily is about facing obstacles and challenges. The level of awareness that you are working at means you have a responsibility to be equal with it. How does one truly let go of expectation? You can make the moment that you wake up to the moment you go to sleep sacred. The keys to success: choice, 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 and choice.